So I haven't really planned out what I want to do, but I want to show a couple of things. My intent with this was not to make a copy of the header up above. I don't need that. So I'd rather this was just an image. And I want to do another section where I do just a single image and text block in it with some sort of a background. So let's see if we can put that in. So first, this is above the team. Kind of silly to have a team when it's just one person now. So let's find that in our document here. I called it image above team. So I want just the image, not the other stuff. So I'm going to, well, first I need to verify where the image is placed on there. Is it on the section? Yes. So it is part of this section, which is called image above team in the style sheet. So I don't need anything except for the section to do what I want with that. So I can get rid of everything in there, which is not very much. It's just this division here, the container. Well, I'm actually going to just put that in a comment, so maybe I can use that later in another place. There we go. So that should mean that now it's just the image. Okay, that's fine. It did shrink down the height a little bit because there's no other content to keep it open, but I still like, what it's doing there. If I want this particular section to be higher, let's see how we can do that. So here I have padding top 10.5 and padding bottom, but there's nowhere that it describes the height. And this is line 53. So let's go ahead and add a height that's going to be bigger than what we have. Let's say 300 pixels. And this was on line 53, image section, image section. There's the image there. It's padding. I'll add in a height here. That way we get at least part of the image. And again, I don't remember if we did this before. I can decide if I want the top or the bottom of the image. And here we have background position, center, center. Left and right is the first center, and this one is for up and down, so I'm going to change that to top. That way I see the top of the bowl because I want to see the top of the bowl. I don't know. Just to show that we can. So we can control exactly what we see in that image area. Okay, I decided I want to do another one of these. It kind of helps to break up images and between sections where things are too similar. It's good to have this one here. I don't know where I want another one. Maybe here. I was going to get rid of the contact form. I think I was going to get rid of the logos too. Let's see. I'm going to comment out. Here's the clients. So when you have a comment inside of a comment, it kind of messes things up. And there's a lot of things in the contact here. I have the original template, so if I ever want anything from that contact form, I can get back to it. So here's the end of the contact. I have the ending section tag, and the beginning section tag, so I'm going to delete that. So it's now gone. And I guess I want to replace the clients with another image section. So this one, I just have the one comment, so I'm just going to take the end of it and interesting, it's not a section, it's just a division. Okay, so there it's gone, and I want an image block in between here, so I'm going to do the same kind of thing with this, but do some type inside of it. So let's take that same kind of thing that we have here for the image, and I'm going to put that above the footer. So this image section has a class. We can reuse the class to put an image in, but its ID name should be unique. So let's see what happens. So it puts in the image just like this one because we put the image in on the class, not the ID name, and that's a little bit of a problem. We should redo that. So let's look at how we did that in the styles. Here it is. So image section has the image. Let's take that image out. What's this one called? Is it above team? Team above. Team top. So team top and footer top will be our two names. Team dash top. So we'll take out just the background image out of there. So all of the image controlling stuff we did will be common to any class, this image section class, but anytime we do a new image section, we'll have a unique thing. So instead of the bold and nuts, what else do I have? Backgrounds. I don't even remember what I used for the, I guess that's what I have at the top. These are all kind of busy images. Ignore that PSD, that should not be there. So cashew nuts soft.jpg, let's do that. There we go. So it's doing the same thing as the other one, but just with a different image. So I want to put inside of here an image, which sounds a little bit goofy now that I think about it, and a text block. So, and I want them at unequal sizes. I want the image to take up like 1/3 and the text block to take up 2/3. And then when the screen shrinks small enough, I want the image to be, you know, a single centered thing and the text block to be underneath it. So let's see if we can copy some of that idea from our Bootstrap layout example that we have above here. So we're going to do that in the HTML. Here is our person, and we know that to do that we would need a, so right now we just have a section, and most of these they use a container and then a row. So we want to copy that same kind of thing but I don't need the text center title in this case. So let's see if I can make sense out of what to copy here. So I'm just copying the beginnings of things, not the endings. So if I copy this one, I know I'm going to need to close my container, and I know I'm going to need to close my row, and I'll need to close my sized column layout thing there. So 3 different things that I'll need to close if I copy the opening. So down in my, oh, those are the modals, I went too far. It's under clients, here we go. So here we see the container. I'm going to replace that whole thing. So here's the openings, right? So let's do the closings each time. So there's the close for the layout thing. Did a backspace there. This would be the close for the row. And this would be the close for the container. So I'm a little bit off here on my alignment, so let's go ahead and do a tab on, no, what's it doing? I don't know why it doesn't want to line up, so I'll just make it line up there. So that way I can visually verify what I have. So the first one, I want it to be 2/3, or sorry, 1/3. So that would be 4, right? And then I'm going to do a second object inside that row, and that's going to be 8 to get my 12. So 4 and 8 to get my 12. So in the first one, I'll do an image. So let's borrow an image. Let's borrow our team member here. And in the next one, I want to do a paragraph. So I'm going to borrow this paragraph of text here and see what that gives us. Okay, kind of way out of scale here, but it's kind of there. So all of the things that were controlling the size of this are no longer controlling the size because they were particular to that section, and this one as well. So if we look at the reason why he is the size he is, it's the team member image is limited to that size. Okay, 14 rems by 14 rems. So I could copy that information from there, and if I'm going to use it on my new one, I might want to change or assign a name to it. So here I have this division row and a division here, but there's no name that I can put onto this image to help me size it correctly. So if I look at the way the ones above were done, here's the image, but you can see that its parent class had a name, and that helped us do something with it. And that was inside of the sizing for the thing there, for that thing. So let's compare that to what we have now. So there's the row. Here's the size of the column. So we're missing a step in there that would have had the size and the name. So let's try putting one in. ID equals I don't have a name for this section. Low section, that's a really poor name. And this division closing is the one that we had for that, so we need to do a different closing division. And here, so I don't get confused, I'll select all this and command right bracket to do an indent. That helps me make sure I know what I'm doing. So that low section will be my new way to hang the styling on there. So let's go back to our thing here. I think I still have this in my clipboard. Footer top. team member image, change that to low section image. It did not take. I guess I did not save the HTML. Yeah, there we go. Oh, still didn't take. It centered it. Okay, who's that? Here's the low section. And I'm not seeing that class trigger. Did I not save the other one either? Save, save, refresh. No. Why not? There's the low section. There's the image. Section, image section. What am I missing here? The rounded circle things are taking over. But nothing about that image specifically is working. But the one above it, when I'm on the image, I get the team member image is working. I must have spelled something wrong. Low dash section ID. Low dash section. Low dash section IMG. Strange. Oh, it's a class. That's why, and I have an ID name. Okay. So here's, I have a class name, low section image, but in the HTML I made it an ID name for low section image. Where'd he go? Yeah, ID name equals low section, so it wasn't going to work as a, you can't call it an ID and then have it be a class here. So if we just change that, there we go. Now we're at least at the same style that made that one smaller is making this one smaller. So if we want, there we go, there's the side by side. Our title is not reacting the right way. So that section, let's see if we have it on the right place. Here it is, the container. gives you both of these at the same time. So inside the container, we have our text center. Oh, I'm getting confused here. So that our amazing team is there, but I didn't want that. Somehow I copied that over as well. So let's get rid of that header. So I know what I'm dealing with here. Okay, so now I have the right things. So they're still overlapping here. There we go. So there they're pulling apart. Okay, so now I want it to go up higher in that area. And this whole container, where is it? I'm not selecting it very well here. So let's see if I can hit it in this. So the row has a margin top. What is it that's keeping it from the top so much? Padding top, 10.5. Section image section, so then there'd be another version of that. But it's not, there's something else controlling that. But I think that's why it's not, it can't get up there, because it has footer top image section. Let's see if we can change that down to something reasonable. Oh, that failed. There, that's more what we want. So we'll have to do it particularly for that one to get it to come down. So the ID footer top will also do unique. So here's all of those image sections, but for that particular one, footer top, we'll change it just to be 1.5 from the top. Okay, that's good. And we want it here, it's doing the side-by-side thing, but we want this text to not be centered but to be left justified. So we can use that same section name to help us with the text. So footer top P. Here's our footer top ID. So any P inside of that, like this one, we can tell to be a left justified. Space P. So text align center is what most of them are. So let's counteract that with left. Okay. And when it gets smaller, like to that point, we want it to be centered again. So that smaller size, to do the change for just a smaller size, we could do a at media style thing, which I'm not seeing here for any of the things I have left. I got rid of the timeline, which is where we were doing most of those styles. Did I actually leave it in? No, I think I actually deleted the timeline, so I can't get back to it. Let's see. It's a lot easier to copy those than to write it out from scratch. So the idea I'm looking for is the paragraph would be wide or left justified when it's wide, but when it breaks down, we want it to be center justified, just like the other ones. And if I don't have an existing section to copy from, that can be quite difficult to do. Where's one that it would have it? Okay, I'll do a different recording for that. And this is why we have a backup copy.